It started with a whisper, not in the wind, not in her head, but right in the middle of aisle 7 at the grocery store, next to the canned beans. Marla Jenkins was 43, widowed, 2 cats, and a manager at a tire shop. Not exactly the kind of person you'd expect to be chosen by celestial beings, right? I mean, if angels were going to show up anywhere, you'd think they'd hit up the Vatican, not aisle 7 in rural Ohio. But that's exactly what happened. She was reaching for black beans when the world paused. Time didn't slow down. It stopped. The hum of the freezers vanished. The fluorescent lights dimmed into a soft golden glow. And then, a voice, low, gentle, but not human. Do not be afraid. Which, let's be real, is exactly what people say right before you have every reason to be afraid. She turned around and saw nothing, then turned back, and there he was. Not wings and harps and all that cliché nonsense. This being looked like he was carved from light and shadow, human shape but shimmering, like he was glitching between realities. She couldn't breathe, couldn't scream, couldn't even blink. The angel, or whatever this thing was, spoke again. The time has come to deliver the message. Of course, she thought she was losing her mind. Who wouldn't? One minute you're debating between refried and organic beans. The next you're being recruited by divine beings for some kind of spiritual FedEx job. But then came the visions. It started that night. She dreamed of a city drowning in silence. No screams, no alarms, just stillness. People frozen mid-step. Birds halted mid-air. A sky so black it looked like it had swallowed the stars. She woke up sweating, heart racing, cats hissing at the wall. For days, she tried to ignore it, chalked it up to stress, grief, maybe a bad tuna melt. But then, it got weirder. Electronics in her house flickered when she walked by. Her reflection in the mirror blinked after she did. Strangers stopped her in the street and said, "It's almost time," like it was the most casual thing in the world. And then came the voice again, this time in her car. She was at a red light when her dashboard lit up with symbols she didn't recognize, like some alien language mixed with ancient scripture. "Prepare them," it said, though they won't believe you, but tell them anyway. Tell them what, exactly? That's what she asked. And the reply? Tell them what's coming, the silence, the forgetting, the unraveling. Cool, that clears it right up. At this point, Marla was flipping between terrified and furious. She hadn't asked for this. She didn't want to be the messenger of doom. She wanted to go back to arguing about tire warranties and heating up frozen lasagna. But here's where it gets disturbing. She started writing, not because she wanted to, but because she had to. Her hand would move on its own, scribbling symbols, drawings, pages and pages of what looked like nonsense, until a linguistics professor saw it and turned pale. This is pre-Sumerian," he whispered. "Nobody alive should be able to write this." The text spoke of something called the hollowing, a time when humanity would forget what it means to be human. Not through war, not through disease, but through distraction. That's what made the angel's warning so unsettling. It wasn't about fire or brimstone. It was about apathy, numbness, a quiet slipping away of meaning. One prophecy in her notes said, "They will scroll until their souls are smooth." Excuse me, if that doesn't sound like your late-night TikTok binge, I don't know what does. Marla's message, if we're boiling it down, was this: something is coming, not to kill us, but to erase us from the inside out. And here's the kicker. She wasn't the only one. After her story hit local news, mostly because she had a minor freakout in front of a Hobby Lobby, people started coming forward. Dozens, then hundreds, all around the world. Same visions, same angel, same message. Some of them painted, some wrote, some just disappeared, literally vanished. And the ones who stayed, they started remembering things, not memories from this life, but from somewhere else. One man swore he remembered standing before a council made of glass, being asked if he really wanted to reincarnate again. Another woman described a realm where thoughts shaped reality instantly. No lag time, no lies. A place where everyone was connected, not by wires or Wi-Fi, but by knowing. She called it the before. What tied them all together? This eerie sense that Earth, as we know it, is not the original program. More like a sandbox, a backup. And the real thing? Well, it's being restored or overwritten. Either way, they say the countdown has started. And Marla, she disappeared. 3 weeks after her final recorded message, she left her keys on the kitchen counter, poured a bowl of cereal, and never came back. No sign of struggle, no broken door, just a strange symbol drawn in cinnamon next to the sink. The same symbol she saw in the angel's robe. So here's the question nobody wants to ask out loud. What if she wasn't crazy? What if you had the same dream tonight? What if the message was meant for you too? So let's just say, for argument's sake, Marla wasn't hallucinating, wasn't delusional, and definitely didn't mistake a weird kombucha trip for a divine appointment. Let's say the angel was real. Then, what is the hollowing? Because that's the part nobody wants to touch. Not the scientists, not the theologians, not even the TikTok spiritual influencers who think crystals can fix everything. Spoiler, they can't, but they do look cool. Let's break it down. Marla's writings, after some decoding, suggest this isn't a new threat. It's ancient, like pre-human ancient, like before time had numbers ancient. And apparently it's a cycle. Over and over, civilizations rise, get too clever, too comfortable, and then forget. Not accidentally, but systematically. Piece by piece, truth by truth, until they become hollow. No depth, no memory, no soul. And the terrifying part? It doesn't come from some dark demon in the sky or alien overlord hiding under Antarctica. It comes from us, from our obsession with the shiny, the fast, the easy, from our addiction to noise, scrolling, swiping, clicking, liking until nothing feels real unless it's validated by strangers. According to Marla's downloads, her word not mine, the hollowing begins when humanity trades wonder for convenience. And here's the wild part. She claimed the angel showed her a moment, a very specific moment, in 2024, a choice point, a collective fork in the road where we'd either wake up or slip further into the numbness. No war, no explosion, just a choice. And most people wouldn't even notice they made it. Now, I know what you're thinking. Cool story, but why would angels care about our screen time habits? Fair question. But maybe it's not about angels caring. Maybe it's about them warning us because they've seen this movie before. 12 times, 1,000. Civilizations burning not from bombs, but from forgetting who they were. Now here's where the story gets even freakier. In a journal recovered from Marla's home, there's a drawing, crude but unmistakable. A map, not of a place but a timeline, and at the center a swirling black spiral labeled simply The Unraveling. Underneath in her handwriting, memory will fail, reality will blur, only those who choose to remember will remain. What does that mean? No one's sure, but some think it refers to something called the quiet collapse, not an apocalypse, not an extinction, but a soft erasure of meaning. You know that creeping feeling when you're in the middle of a crowd and still feel completely alone? Or when you scroll for 2 hours and suddenly forget what day it is? That's it. That's the hollowing creeping in. And Marla believed that was the real danger. Not fire from the skies or robots with lasers, but humans willingly becoming less human, one dopamine hit at a time. Now what's wild is this. After her disappearance, her journals were studied by neuroscientists, linguists, and even, believe it or not, a few Vatican archivists. One of them leaked a detail that's never made the news. In the final entry, dated the morning before she vanished, Marla wrote, "The veil is lifting. I saw behind it. We're not the first, we won't be the last. But we might be the first to choose differently." Chilling, but here's where it punches you in the soul. If what she saw was real, if angels are reaching out through grocery stores and dreams and static on the radio, it's not because they want to scare us. It's because they think there's still hope. But it's not the kind of hope that floats down from the sky wrapped in glowing robes. It's the kind of hope that starts with one person deciding to wake up, to pay attention, to remember. And before you roll your eyes and go, Oh, great, more New Age fluff. Let's talk about what happened to people who did listen. Like Jerome Lee, a tech exec in Singapore who reported a dream where Marla gave him coordinates. He followed them. What he found? A cave in the Philippines with markings identical to hers, symbols no tribe in the region recognized, but which matched stone tablets found in Turkey from over 9,000 years ago. Coincidence? Or is someone or something trying to reconnect the pieces of an old puzzle? Another case, Elena Griggs, a retired psychologist from Michigan, woke up speaking fluent Aramaic, an ancient language she never studied. When asked what she said, she translated it later. They've heard your silence louder than your prayers. Let that one sink in. This isn't just about messages from angels. It's about something deeper, something primal, something we've forgotten, but that hasn't forgotten us. Because according to Marla's final recording, found on a corrupted USB drive inside a hollowed-out Bible, there's a deadline. And it's not a metaphorical one. The voice on the file, faint and distorted, whispers only one phrase on repeat. You have until the second eclipse. Choose, choose, choose. And then silence. What's second eclipse? Is this cosmic? Spiritual? Some kind of universal reset? No one knows. But astrophysicists confirmed two major eclipses, solar and lunar, happening in 2024, visible from North America and parts of Europe. Was that the moment Marla saw? Was it a celestial alarm clock or the snooze button? People are panicking, searching for signs, looking to prophets, psychics, Google, Reddit, and finding a whole lot of noise. But here's what no one wants to admit. The signs are not out there. They're in you. That weird dream you had, the one that felt too real, that deja vu that made your stomach drop, that moment you swore you heard someone say your name when you were alone. Maybe it wasn't random. Maybe it was a ping from the before, from whatever's trying to wake you up. And just maybe, Marla wasn't chosen because she was special. Maybe she was chosen because she was listening. So where did she go? I mean, people don't just vanish after spilling cosmic secrets, right? Well, apparently they do. Marla's last known appearance was caught on a low-res security camera outside an abandoned church. Middle of the night, alone, no coat, no bag, just barefoot in the snow, walking toward the forest. No one's seen her since. No trace, no footprints past a certain point. The search team followed her trail to the edge of the woods, and then, nothing. Like she evaporated. Some say she ascended, some say she crossed into a different plane. Some Reddit guy swears she got abducted by interdimensional librarians guarding humanity's forgotten knowledge, which honestly sounds kind of amazing. I'd watch that movie. But here's what freaked out investigators the most. In that church, abandoned for 43 years, they found candles, lit, still burning, but no wax, no heat, just flame hovering in the air like it didn't know physics existed. On the altar, a single sentence carved in the old wooden table. I warned them, will you? Creepy, right? But maybe also a challenge? Because if what Marla experienced was real, and if this hollowing is creeping in like fog we can't feel until we're lost in it, then maybe we don't need more prophets. Maybe we need more rememberers, people willing to sit in the quiet, to feel what we've forgotten, to notice the things everyone else scrolls past. You know what the wildest part of this whole story is? It's not the angel, it's not the prophecy, it's not even the terrifying message about the world unraveling. It's the reaction, because instead of uniting in awe or panic, people just shrugged, posted memes, moved on. Like, oh, hey, woman talks to angel, predicts soul collapse, disappears into glowing forest. Meh, what's for lunch? And that might be the real horror. Not the warning, but the apathy. But Marla knew this. She said it in a now-deleted interview that somehow lives on as a grainy clip buried deep in the digital wastelands of Vimeo. They won't believe me, but I'm not here to be believed. I'm here to plant a memory, a seed that sprouts the moment you choose to care. Oof, that hits. Because maybe that's all it takes. One spark, one uncomfortable question, one pause before we drown ourselves in more content, more noise, more forgetting. Maybe the terrifying part isn't the message. Maybe the terrifying part is that it's up to us now. No angel's gonna swoop down with a clipboard and say, "Hey champ, time to realign your soul." No cosmic syllabus, no final exam prep, just that quiet nudge, the tickle in your gut that something isn't quite right, the feeling that maybe, just maybe, we were meant for more than this, more than screens and scrolling and burnout disguised as productivity. Maybe the real message isn't about doom. Maybe it's about remembering how to feel, to cry without shame, to laugh without irony, to stand barefoot in the grass and remember that you're a living, breathing miracle hurtling through space on a rock that shouldn't exist. Maybe the angel wasn't warning us of the end. Maybe she was reminding us of the beginning, of what we lost, of what we still have, buried under the rubble of modern life. Marla said the veil is lifting, so maybe it's time to open your eyes, turn off the noise, step outside, and just listen. Not to the news, not to your phone, but to you, because if her message really was terrifying, it's only because we forgot how to hear the truth. And the truth? You were never hollow. You were just waiting to remember. And now you do.